something that I memorized as a child and lived it every day. It was a mantra. I actually had the quote hung up on my wall. And it stated, whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process they don't become a monster. Because when you look into the abyss looks into you. That was my reality. Holding on to my humanity, my empathy. It was a task every day, every day. When the world around you embraces the savagery of the moment, the ins and outs and ebbs and flows of existence that were strictly predicated on survival and what a person was willing or not willing to do to survive, holding on to your humanity was a victory every day. It was a victory. When I'd lock in at night and I would reflect, always embrace that. Embrace the fact that I had to hold on to my humanity and my ability to empathize with others of all shades and colors and backgrounds, life experiences. I never really lived a life of discrimination towards others, so I never truly embraced that side of the coin. I see things for what they are, not the way I want them to be. And that could, offend people sometimes. But I realized that in order for me to survive what I was up against at 19 years of age, I had to have a clear mind and a clear conscience and a clear understanding that I was willing to be vulnerable and willing to embrace what ignorance I had towards that lifestyle, that way of life. We're going to explore that in this channel. We're going to explore what I went through. As I stated earlier, I was 19 years old when I went to prison. Spent 28 years there. I had a 28 to life sentence. I was convicted of murder in the second degree, which I was sentenced 25 to life to, and assault in the first degree, which I was sentenced 3 to 7 years for. I spent 19 years in the Auburn Correctional Facility, which is a Max A prison in upstate New York. I called it the Abyss because that's what it was. It's a notoriously violent, brutal prison, which it was, and I imagine still is, especially in the 90s and early 2000s. It was brutal, not just so much with the prisoners, but the guards, the COs. They were careless, cold, and brutal in their own way, more ways than one. I'm an open book when it comes to exploring the injustice system. You will learn firsthand what befell me and my family when we had our trust betrayed by a system that I don't call broken. This is not broken. It was never fixed. It's skewered. And they have very powerful entities that can dictate the flow of the narrative that they will present to justify the final means to an end. My final means to the end was incarceration for 28 years. I've been released now for almost 3 years, and every day I'm thankful. I am grateful to be able to wake up in a warm bed next to my beautiful wife and just pick up a phone, call my kids. We're older now, but were born while I was incarcerated. We raised a family through the family reunion programs, which I will also explore. They're famously known as trailers. I'm sure the understanding of people, it's very confounding and confusing and complex to embrace how a person could marry while incarcerated, have a family, try to uphold virtues of familial bonds and trust. I will hopefully have a chance to really elaborate on that. And if there is interest there, I will talk about my family life while incarcerated. I will talk about how I and my wife made ends meet and how supportive my family was, both my immediate and intermediate, my friends, both outside the wall, within the prison system. We'll talk about my Odinist brothers, a lot of which are still incarcerated, and Odinist Services, which I ran in the Woodburn Correctional Facility years into my incarceration, which I helped establish in that particular prison, which it wasn't recognized formally, and how we built that bond of trust and brotherhood. Because once you share a foxhole with someone, it's a different bond than just someone you can just call a common friend. Anyone who's done prison time knows this firsthand, and they know exactly what I'm talking about. I will explore my mindset, my emotions, and where we go from there. I will show the maturation process of understanding how I became the man I am today, sitting here with this chance to reach all of you. I do hope that I get feedback. I'm open to all feedback, as I said previously, negative, positive, indifferent. I'm cool with it. It's all good. I'm game. You know, I happen to be in a position now where I can understand things better, and be more tolerant towards ignorance or uncertainty, or just honesty. That's all I ask for, because I'm going to be honest too. I'm going to be honest with who I am and where I'm going and what I've been through. It's an amazing journey. It's an amazing saga that we've been on. I say we as my family and I. And I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to explore it further with all of you. And perhaps this can reach even just one person, and one person takes heed to anything I have to say, and they can use it to help them or help their family member, someone they love or someone they care for, and better understand what perhaps they're going through. All the years of incarceration have really taught me many things and invaluable lessons in life, most of which stem from the fact that I must appreciate where I stand and sit each day, because that each day, that moment, is the only thing that matters. But that moment leads into what becomes your legacy, your destiny, your actions. They define you. And I move forward each day, and I never back down from my responsibilities, what I am accountable for and to, and for what. I will elaborate on my crime. If there is interest to know my mindset, who I was at that time in my life, I will elaborate on that. I'm just looking forward to the next leg of this journey, because I understand that the destination that befalls me is something that I never thought I'd be given the chance to explore. There was a moment, many of them, where I didn't know if I was coming or going. All I cared about was survival. Survival was the only thing that mattered. Waking up each day, figuratively and literally putting on my armor and facing what the unknown elements would bring to me, the forces of negative destruction. Chaos is what I like to call each day in prison, especially the maxes. I spent almost 25 years in the maxes, the rest of which I did in the medium security prisons, the Max 8 prisons in particular, Auburn Correctional Facility, Elmira Correctional Facility, 5 Points Correctional Facility. They're all maxes. I spent almost 5 years in the medium security Woodburn Correctional Facility. In a few months, I spent at Bear Hill, which is another medium. I was released from the Woodburn Correctional Facility, and in 2022. It seems so surreal to me at this point. It still does. It's amazing to just know that I'm doing this right now, and that there's people out there, all of you, that are interested in what I have to say or not say, and what I've been through. And I believe this is therapeutic not only for me, but perhaps to all of you. I'm Really, really appreciative to be here right now.